welcome to the Stackis Hotel in Blackpool once again for the World 8-Ball Pool Championships. We're down to the teams final, and it sees England against Ireland. Both these teams very much up for it. England the favourites, but Ireland have played superbly throughout. As you can hear behind me, the anthem's just going on. A great deal of atmosphere for this. The crowds will be cheering them on throughout. And with me, a former team manager of England, Alan Bartlett. This is the kind of atmosphere we love. And the teams, I mean, this is always a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. The English team are the strongest team. But if the Irish team get in front, there's going to be some noise out there today.
How do they concentrate with all this noise?
They do give them best of order when they're playing. On their shots, they've got time. You know, it stays calm then. But in between, this is what makes them nervous.
Two best teams in the final or not?
It's hard to say. It's all on the day. Once you get to the semi-final stage, it's one game. Ireland proved that against Wales yesterday. Wales beat England last year. Ireland can beat England.
Well, let's take a look at how these two teams got to the final in terms of who they had to play. Look at this. A host of countries. Ireland, Australia, Scotland, South Africa, they've all come to this. Wales, in fact, the world champions last year, beaten in the semi-finals by Ireland. Ireland finishing fourth. England looking strong, though, having only lost just one match. That's how they finished up. So England, perhaps, you'd say, on paper, are the stronger team, but the way Ireland have played to get through to the final, especially beating the world champions, that was a big fill-up for them, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. They got themselves together, they played well. But let's not forget how the English played against France. They were tremendous. Another repeat of that sort of performance, it's going to be very difficult for Ireland to win.
Well, let's take a look at the players that are on display in this, and it really is a host of who's who in the game of pool. And if you start with England, you've got the current world champion in Carl Morris, there's Lee Kendall, the world #1, and people like Jason Twist and Keith Brewer, who are superb. But Ireland also have got a lot of good players.
Well, they certainly have, and with the backing you can hear out there, they're certainly going to have the support. Go through their team. Thomas Kinsella's got the experience, Greg Farron, former world champion, Tony Aldgate, runner-up in the world championship, Paul O'Donoghue, a snooker player, big table, no problem, Robert Brady, quarter-finalist last year, and John Collin was top of their rankings up to the last event this year, so they've got some form there, you know. But the England team, what can you say?
Just explain the format a little bit. 7 players to a team. They've all almost got to play 3 games, but the order can change. How significant is that?
Well, they all believe it is. England go off with Jason Twist. They have done for a few years now. They save some of their tactical players for the back. But really, it's all mental, that is. It's all in the mind. At the end of the day, well, how the breaks come. The breaks fall to the players. They get the balls. It doesn't matter what order they play in. It's all in the lap of the gods. You've got the best team. You should win it.
How important is the start going to be to this? Getting settled down, especially with this rabble out there.
England are the better team, so Ireland really need the better start. But what's going to be difficult for England is if Ireland do get on top early on, you've heard the noise out there, they're going to be under pressure, you know?
All right, well, let's find out how the captains were feeling just before they came out here.
It'll be a hard match today. I don't think it'll be 11-3, but I'm sure the lads are going to put in a good performance, and hopefully we can win before it gets too close.
How have you and the lads prepared for today?
I went out for a meal last night just to settle the nerves and get a bit of team spirit going, but we're ready for it.
You're all on good form, are you?
We're all playing very well, yes.
Go on then, a predicted scoreline.
A win for England, 11-6.
Oh, it feels really good. We're really up for this now. You know, it's England. You know, they're regarded as the best team in the world, but, you know, we're up for it.
How are you going to approach the game?
We want to go out, we want to try and get a few frames early, you know, just take a bit of the edge off the match. But if we can get the lead, I think we can win the match.
You know all the boys so well on the England team. Does that help in your tactics?
Really it doesn't make any difference, because at the end of the day, when you're out there playing against them, I don't look at them and think, oh, I know you because I play on the professional circuit with you. You know, just put it out of your mind.
You're a bit of a betting man. Can we have a predicted scoreline from you, Tony?
11-0 to Ireland.
Good.
So Tony Holgate pretty confident there, but he only knows one way, and that's attack, attack, attack. What's your thoughts on this, Alan? You've heard the predictions there. What's yours?
I think England will win the match. You've got to choose England. But as I said about Ireland, their top players must get on and win some frames, give the confidence to the new players in the team, and who knows, you know where the support's going to lie.
All right, well, will it be England or will Irish eyes be smiling? We'll soon find out. Let's join our commentary team once again of Alec Evernadas and Jim Walsh.
Gentlemen, first frame, Ireland.
Thanks, Jonathan. If you can't get motivated when you hear your national anthems to come out to play, then you got to check your pulse rate. Thomas Kinsella breaking off for Ireland, and absolutely crucial for them to get off to a good start. Yellow in to start things off for Thomas.
Yellow ball potted.
A daunting prospect for the Irish side. This is the 7th year since this event's inception, and every single year the English team has been in the final. They've lost only twice on 2 occasions, in 1998 to Wales and in 1996 to Australia. In fact, Ireland is making their 2nd appearance in the finals.
Red balls in play.
In 1995, they were 14-11 losers to the English side. They're going to look to try and erase that memory. And what better way for Thomas Kinsella to get them off the mark here and establish something that they can build on. Well, we've got someone in the commentary box, I'm sure, that would far rather be out there playing right now. He's the Australian captain, Alec Evrenatis. And Alec, you know what it takes to beat this English team, having captained the Australian side in 1996 to a win.
Well, that's right, Jim. As Tony was saying, he needs to get off to a good start. And when England played Australia, we got off to a good start, and geez, they kept on coming back. They just did not let go at all, and it was a real close game that year, but we just held on as it was.
Well, you look at the English squad there, and every single team member
30 seconds.
a chance at the individual crown. That's just how strong they are. No weak links whatsoever. And their record here speaks for themselves. 4 world titles. And what's more is you see all the same faces year in and year out. So they know each other, the camaraderie's there. But it really has to be said, in watching Ireland's semi-final win over the holders Wales,
30 seconds.
their emotion, their team spirit, they really do relish this team event. And you will hear some noise from those boys.
They really only need half a reason, Jim. They love to have a yell and a scream.
Seconds.
First mistake falls to the Irish side. That's 2 visits now to Thomas Kinsella.
I don't think that's done Jason a lot of harm there, Jim. He's ended up covering the bottom left-hand corner, and also the red and the yellow stuck on the bottom rail has certainly slowed Thomas down here. It was evenly poised before that shot. It just depends on his first shot here, whether he can clear this red, yellow in the bottom left-hand corner for the red.
Second visit.
Well, kind of a good news, bad news situation there. He cleared the yellow. Unfortunately, he's not landed on a red. He certainly got the yellow out of there. Had it not double kissed, it would have been perfect.
A bit unlucky there, yeah. And there we see just Thomas there cramping up the black and making sure about the control. Obviously that's the most important ball, Jim, and he doesn't want to open anything up too quickly here. He wants to just keep the control and keep Jason at bay. That's a clever shot there by Jason, just removing the yellow, leaving the reds on the cushion, and also putting the white way out of reach.
Well, Thomas was a stalwart in their semi-final victory over the Welsh side. He won 2 of his 3 frames. He's always a player that Ireland count on very heavily, and that's why they start off with him. Icy cool nerves.
Good shot there.
Very good pot. He's got an outside chance here, does Jason Twist. Going to take an awful lot of manipulation with regards to the cue ball, though. But the yellows are available. Most difficult ball is obviously the one nearest the bottom end. And it passes to the right center and top right.
Nice angle here, Jim, with the yellow in the middle, just to drift down. Bit of stun on the white just to get below the yellow and have a nice run-through shot to get up the top of the table.
Well, this is the difficult yellow, and you can see Keith Brewer, Mick Hill there applauding a good positional shot from Jason Twist. They call him the Tornado because he wastes very little time out there.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jason.
Well, we can see here, Jim, he's got the two yellows up the top, and he only really has to roll this in and roll the other yellow into the left-hand corner with the black down the rail covering 4 reds if it happened to miss. So he's looking pretty good here.
Got to be careful not to foul here. That was slightly hampered cueing, but no dangers. This long black to stake England to a 1-0 lead. This is missable. Oh, that's a great opening from Jason Twist. A very confident start. And England off the mark early. They lead Ireland 1 frame to 0.
England to break, leading 1 frame to 0.
Daunting task for England here. Former world champion and world number 4, Greg Farren from Ireland. And that's Phil Harrison breaking off for England. This is one you have to favor the Irish. But 1 frame, you've got to get it done very fast. Settle the nerves.
Open table.
And dodge the pressure. The break off again. Nothing down, so it's an open table for Farren.
30 seconds.
Red ball's in play.
He was thinking about taking the yellows here, Jim, but he just had a tough opening shot, so I think he's just decided to go with the reds. But I can't see him possibly potting out here. He's certainly got a hard shot here, bridging over the yellow there.
The 2 reds, the bottom of the table, nearest Greg's bridge hand here are going to be awkward. They do pass to the corner, though. He's a wily veteran, is the professor, and right away
Yellow ball's in play.
establishing a very controlling position on the table. Greg Farren winning 2 of his 3 games against Wales, and Phil Harris only needed to play 2 frames against the French side in the 11-3 shellacking England over France, but he slotted both those on the scoreboard for England.
30 seconds.
Come on, Greg. Come on, Greg. Come on, Greg.
So important. You just can't afford to make mistakes. You're playing for yourself, your 6 teammates, your country, and a host of supporters in the crowd as well. You want to try and keep your innings successful.
30 seconds.
Great shot there, Jim. He's really giving himself a chance in this match. He's got both bottom pockets covered, and really Phil Harrison with nowhere to go.
Great shot, that one from Farron. And if Phil Harrison's going to turn this one around, he's going to have to produce a little billiard magic here.
I think you might see him trying to cover the outside of the ball just to help slow the game down, because he's a long way down. He's a long way behind in shots. He's going to need 5 shots from here, Jim.
Go on, Greg.
Shot,
Yeah, you see him trying to cramp the areas around, so it makes it very hard for Greg to get out and get into the position on the next ball.
I think Greg's just having a look at how available the black is, because believe it or not, he does have a finish on here. It's highly unlikely, as you said, Alec, with the reds over the corner pockets, getting the cue ball out is tough, but that 8 ball is available.
Go on, Greg. Go on, Greggy. Super shot.
Well, he's got to be happy with that. He's got the black out. I think he's just got to pot the 3 reds up the top end of the table with the centre red in the red ball in the centre of the table into the centre pocket, and probably the bottom left-hand corner last, coming off the bottom rail to put the black in the centre there, Jim. He hasn't got a tough ball. He's just got to make sure he gets position on him. A bloke of this calibre, really, you can't see him making a mistake from here. But of course, we know what the pressure's all about.
A picture of consistency. Nothing careless creeps into Greg Farron's game.
Not too quickly, anyway.
You can see the dome tip. They all employ snooker cues, a lot of these pool players. And that obviously because of the undersized white ball. You can hear a pin drop in that auditorium right now. Just trying to stay focused is Greg Farron. On either red.
Well, he had to make sure he come down far enough to make sure he stayed on that red ball for the centre pocket. So he's played a good shot there. He's only got to roll the red in the middle, and then basically what he's trying to work out now is where he wants to leave the white ball for the last red, which I think is just a roll in there, Jim.
Time out.
Time been called because Greg Farron has just requested the rest. And our referee, Mike Regan.
Time running.
Time back in. Well, the way Greg's played that, it almost looks like this 8 is available to the bottom right corner. If it's not, well, it's got the left-hand side of the pocket, but certainly It's not as easy. Greg might well have underscrewed that a bit, Alec.
Well, I definitely think he's gone the wrong way there. I would have taken the red into the centre pocket. If he doesn't get on this black straight, it's going to be a tough black. Well, he's played that well. He's definitely straight on that, so he may even consider playing off the yellow on the bottom rail there, Jim.
Yes, two options here. Either way, this isn't going to be played at pace. Slips in without touching the yellow. A great performance from Greg Farren. And Ireland and England are all tied up at 1 frame apiece.
England to break, leading 3 frames to 2.
Well, Carl with a quick wink to the referee. I wonder if they're in cahoots. So he's breaking off here. 3-2 England leads. And that cue ball just about off the table.
Yellow ball.
22-year-old Morris. Looking to get England back on track. The cue ball bouncing.
Yellow ball's in play.
And nominating yellows, Alec.
Well, they're certainly the ones, Jim. There's 2 reds stuck up the top right-hand corner, so he doesn't want to be with them.
Red ball's in play.
Could he have rushed that a bit?
Well, it was certainly a bad miss. The table was there waiting for him, and he's giving John McMahon a chance when he might well have had none. I wonder if the nap just turned that cue ball slightly. He was going right across it.
Well, I find that sometimes over the extra distance on a bigger table, you might actually aim a little bit out where, because it's got to go further, you're out that little bit more, you know. It's a tough call.
Well, good containing shot from McMahon there. And he's developed all his reds. That was the only difficult one, so he really has thrown the gauntlet down now.
If Carl can pot a ball here, well, he's certainly going to win the frame. So I might even consider going across the table, going for the double, and maybe potting the yellow over the centre pocket.
That's what he's looking at right now. Over to the side and back over to the yellow. Well, he hit it.
I think that was a foul. Did he hit it on the way in or on the way out, Jim?
Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny.
He might have hit it on the way back. You're right. Well, this is very close. If he hits it on the way off the cushion, it's a foul.
Time out. Yeah, time out.
Well, Carl Morris is saying that was no foul. That's very close, Alec. It was tough to call.
I think it may have just touched it on the way through.
No foul.
I think he's called no foul now.
Senior referee.
The senior referee has just overruled Mike Regan. He just went over, and they have the benefit of having one of the monitors there, so it's a lot easier for them to call it. But let's have a quick look at it right now. I think it definitely hit it on the way in. A very good call.
Come on, Johnny.
Foul or no foul, right now, John McMahon in with a golden opportunity, a gilt-edged opportunity to be able to bring Ireland back to level pegging here with a fancied English side.
Well, from where the Reds lie, Jim, he doesn't really need the 2 shots. It just would have been a nice buffer there to take the pressure off. But John's quite capable of potting these without any problem at all.
Good right there. A look of determination on his face. unforgivable, that one. And that is a long, dejected walk back to the chair. You can't miss a ball like that at this level.
No, I'm afraid I've got no excuse for that, Jim, because he didn't have to worry about any position for the ball. They were all there to be potted. No screw, no anything, just a plain ball pot, and he's missed it. That's unforgivable.
Time running.
The bigger point of missing that red like that, Jim, is what does it do to the team when they see that shot missed?
Well, it's still down to Carl Morris to complete the victory, though. Well, I'm quite surprised that yellow didn't drop. It almost looked like it just feathered out at the very end, just enough to keep it out. See there? Just turned enough to keep it out of the pocket.
He didn't play it quite hard enough, though, did he, Jim?
Time out.
He's not playing with a lot of confidence right now as the reigning world champion.
I can see a big double here, Jim. Double that red that's safe in the bottom right-hand corner onto the red up the top right-hand corner. And this is going to promote that red, and basically he's got another opportunity to win the frame again.
And I fancy him to do it right here. He's getting a second kick at it.
He's caught the center jaw.
Well, that was a chance that I think he really should have gotten. When you get a second life,
I think the big problem there was he had to square the red up. The angle wasn't quite right, so he's tried to hit it firm to square it off the bottom rail, which is why he screwed the white back into the middle of the table, having other backup balls there to make sure he had something to keep going with.
Go, Cal.
I don't think he was too happy to see the second yellow disappear. That was the one that he intended to get on the black with.
It just makes things a little bit tougher, Jim, but I don't think he should be too concerned about it.
Well, he's got the angle on this yellow. He's got to take the white off the side cushion and back for the black bottom left. And England knows what Carl Morris has just confirmed. He's taken the frame and again staked England to a two-frame advantage at 4-2. Jason Twist breaking off now against the Irish captain Tony Holgate. And 5-2 in front. The English side, and
yellow ball's in play.
Very noticeable as the captain of the Irish team plays that his teammates have departed. 5-2, Ireland find themselves in the deficit, and Holgate virtually on his own out there. Maybe it was a quick team meeting that Tony Holgate had instigated, knowing he wouldn't be attending. Well, Jason Twist doing his best imitation of some of the Irish players right there. An inexcusable mistake from what looked to be a very simple
Come on, Tom. Come on.
The last thing he wanted to do was give the two visits away to Holgate there. And this does afford Tony the chance now to snatch this one right at this visit. And he's got a good starting red, too.
Yes, Jim, he's just got to pot this red in the bottom left-hand corner, get up to the top top half of the table and maybe even play that red off the bottom yellow, which will open the bottom red up in the corner there.
Well, he definitely wants to save his 2 visits. If he doesn't take a red down the right-hand side off the yellow bottom right, then he's going to want to save his 2nd visit to develop that awkward red. Wow, that's a great shot. Now roll this red in. And as you suggested, play the other one up the cushion. That's exactly what he's looking at right now. That was the big red. Now Tony wants to take this red right up the cushion, off the yellow, and clear the pocket for the other red.
Don't forget, Jim, he's going to need a bit of top right-hand side on this, or at least top to get the white back down the side of the table. He's got a big pocket there, so he can afford to put a bit of side on this.
Yes!
Great shot, and look at the position.
Great shot from Holgate there. This is the sort of performance Ireland needed, and was that played with authority? Still carrying his 2nd visit, remember, but I doubt that he's going to need it. And that's what you do when you've got 2 visits. Lay the 8 over the corner pocket. Down it goes, and Holgate, arms in the air, has taken another one for Ireland. Young McHill, who won his opening frame, up against Thomas Kinsella. 6-3 in front for England. Well, the first chance to Ireland.
Come on, Tom.
Foul, 1 visit.
I'll tell you what,
Open
this is a
table.
glorious opportunity for Ireland right here. Can't legislate for going in off from that, but it happened.
Bit unlucky there, Jim. He's caught 2 balls and gone straight into the centre pocket. You can't read them. But I will say, Jim, that Ireland are not out of this yet, but they must get their heads right. They cannot keep going out there thinking, well, I can't miss anymore. They've basically got to pot the balls and support their teammates, which is why it's all about team spirit. No point sitting there shaking your head. You've got to think positive.
And the pressure should be off by now. They're well into this one. It's nearing the halfway point, and it's 6-3 behind. They've got to start letting that back arm go. No more pulling your cue.
Yes!
Good shot by Thomas there. He's fractionally overscrewed it, but he's got plenty of options there, Jim.
Seconds.
Well, that was the more awkward of the reds remaining. This is quite simple really now from here.
Yep, he only has to pot this red into the corner. See the nice angle there that he's left himself.
But have we said that before with the Irish side?
Well, we got to think positive too, Jim. This can finish up tricky. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to finish on the rail. He doesn't want to overscrew it. That's a nice shot.
Well, Thomas Kinsella looks like keeping Ireland in this one.
Come on, man.
Down it goes, and he's saying, come on, lads. 6-4 to England. Still all to play for.
Thomas Kinsella there with a very important frame for Ireland. It could have been a lot worse if they hadn't won that frame, Alan, and we were saying, and that's the way this game works. If you get too far behind, you can start getting worried, can't you?
Well, they're still snapping at the shirt tails now. If they'd have lost that one, they're in trouble. You know, they've been 6-3 down, 7-3 down, but now at 6-4. What's annoying for the Irish team, we saw Tony Holgate reacting earlier on. Paul O'Donoghue, both frames he's had them and he's given them away. They can't afford to do that anymore. They've got Greg Farren still to come in this section. They've got to get and keep hold of England. If they go 3-4 down after the end of the second section, they're in trouble.
All right, well, let's get back to it once again. Your commentator, Jim Weish.
Well, Greg Farren played terrific in his opening session.
Ireland to break, trailing 6 frames.
His second time to the table now. He'll be breaking off. He's going to be up against Daz Ward, so we've got a battle of former world champions. Front and center. England versus Ireland. After 10 frames, only a 2-frame advantage to the English side. Red down.
Red ball potted.
You can see the bottom right, yellow, red, yellow. That's certainly a problem area.
Well, I think he's got to stick with the reds, Jim, only because of the black in the bottom left-hand corner. He's automatically got a bit of control there. He's already got a red off the break.
30 seconds.
Red. Red ball's in play.
Great opening shot there, Jim.
Yes, another look at the action from the former world champion Greg Farren. That red obviously is concerning Greg, and he's wondering how he can attack it.
30 seconds.
Well, I can't see where he can knock that red out. So he must be considering the double on that red, Jim, into the bottom left-hand corner. I don't think he's happy with that. I think he would like to have been on the lower red to clear the path for that red on the double. Unless the double was to pass now.
Well, he's having a good look at it right now. I've got a feeling it does just pass. And if he elects to play it, his intentions will be made crystal clear. Here we go. It's there.
What a fantastic shot, Jim.
Pure brilliance. Had to avoid the double kiss, and it only just went.
The best part about that shot is he's got a linking red to basically get onto the centre red and up to the table for the other red. So it's all easy sailing here. It's just got to get on the black. It should be sweet home.
Well, Daz Ward may not get a chance. To be honest, if the truth be known, he looks favourite not to get a chance.
More importantly, Ireland pull back another frame and go to 6-5 down. So let's see if we can see some pressure swing over and some supporting happening from the Ireland team.
Well, we know how vocal they can be. If they start stringing a few wins together, then England will really be under the gun.
30 seconds.
Shot, Greg. Sorry, Greg. Come on, Greggy.
Straight screw back here to get nice and close to the 8. And I think this is 6-5.
Thirty seconds.
Yes, Greg. Come on, Greg. Come on, Greg.
It's there. A great performance from Greg Ferrin. He's won both his frames, and Ireland is just 1 frame behind England now, 6-5.
Frame, Ireland to break, 7 frames all.
It doesn't get any tighter than this. The Embassy World Pool Team Championships, 7-7, England, Ireland. The former world champion, Greg Ferrin, breaking off against England's Jason Twist. Nothing down.
Open table.
It's open table for Jason Twist. But they really are in the frying pan now. England, they were 6-3 in front. They fell 7-6 behind. Now find themselves dead square. And you'll see a lot more time taken out there now with every shot.
30 seconds.
I think you'll see Jason Twist having a go here. I think they're all potable. He's just got to make some good positional shots on these yellows.
Yellow balls in play.
Come on, Jason.
Jason certainly prefers the open attacking game. There's no doubt about that. And he's been around for a long time and he's potted a lot of balls under a lot of pressure. So I think he'd be quite happy to keep Greg in his seat here.
Come on, Jason. Come on.
Two-ball train into the centre pocket.
Yes, another look at it. Had to get it. The way that Greg Ferrin has performed, I don't think Jason Twist wants to give him even a look in here. He's been a pillar of strength for the Irish team. Won both his frames in the first 2 sessions. And leading off here in frame number 15.
Well, just looking at the red balls there, Jim, if Jason happened to miss a ball, they're certainly all there for Greg. No problem at all.
Well, eventually he's got to get the top of the table for that difficult yellow. I think he's got to play the yellow bottom left right now. And if the yellow passes to the center pocket, he's just got to ensure to leave himself angle. And there you can see it goes.
Yeah, but only just, Jim. He'd want to be at least pretty close behind it so he can have a real good clear view at the pocket.
But the sequence that he's removed these,
30 seconds.
he's not made his work easy. Precise cueing from Jason Twist there. No movement. He's got a little angle on the yellow. Be able to bring the cue ball back down towards the black. Just got to avoid that center pocket. Well, this is some performance, but he's still one shot away. And we have seen some misses. Well, that's a great shot from Jason Twist. Halts the progress of Greg Farron. And what an inning there from Jason Twist. And had to have it from the English side. Well, Phil Harrison with the prospect of trying to stop the emotional Tony Holgate, the Irish juggernaut
16 for him, England to
who
break.
captains the team that is looking to unseat England here in this Embassy Whirlpool final for the team event. And look at Holgate gathering himself, focused, primed. Well, Phil Harrison all set, teeing it up here. And the cue ball stayed on the table, which was lucky for him.
Phil, come on, Phil.
Yellow ball putting.
Yellow down, so it's an open table. And he really has to try and gather himself here. But that cue ball so very nearly went in the middle pocket.
Seconds.
I think he'd like to be on yellows here, Jim, but he hasn't got an easy first ball, so he might be forced into taking the reds. Well, he's taking the yellow in the middle, and that's easy enough. There you go, he's got the position to go out now.
Alec, I think given this situation, 8-7 in this race to 11, I don't think they can be easy enough. I think they'd like to see all remaining colors dangling over all remaining pockets. And then they'd take their time. Every one of these players is right in the cooker. Right into the action. And Phil Harrison right now has all the hopes of a country following his every move.
Seconds.
Yellow just above the two reds on the right-hand side. He's just having a quick look to see the angle to take it into the center pocket. That's showing confidence, Alec.
yellow in the middle and have a long yellow into the top left-hand corner, I think. But it may have been easier if he got on a fraction earlier and have that yellow for a straight black in the other centre.
Two pots away. Right into the pocket. No doubt whatsoever. Yellow's down. What a great performance from Phil Harrison. A break and finish, allowing the Irish captain no reply whatsoever. Look at the English side. 9-7 in front. 2 frames clear. Now to continue on with it, it's young Mick Hill. He's had a very tough go of it so far. He lost his last one in a real heartbreaker.
Trailing 9 frames to 7.
9-7 to England. Paul O'Donoghue breaking off for Ireland. Are we going to see yet another break and finish?
Red ball potted.
Well, the opportunity's there, Jim. I think you'll find he'll probably stay with the Reds.
They're laying terrific right now. Mick Hill, I think, better look pretty comfortable there because he might well not get out of his seat.
Red ball's in play.
30 seconds.
The break, such a big weapon in 8-ball pool here. We've just seen it demonstrated in the preceding frame, a breaking out by Phil Harrison, and Paul O'Donoghue right now looking to repay the favor.
Seconds.
This really doesn't look too difficult. I know there's nothing easy right now, but they're all there.
Well, let me just say, I think this is one of the tougher shots in the game, where he's bridging over the yellow ball there. Well, actually, it's his own red ball, and he hasn't got a linking ball next. This is going to be a tough shot to screw this away from the cushion, or even to follow through. There's not a lot of angle. See, he's changed it in the outside red to make sure, because he's not obviously not happy with that angle there. There's nothing wrong with that.
The Reds were sitting so nice, he had a number of options.
Who we see is not happy again, but really you've just got to forget about what's happened and get on with your next shot, Jim. You can't sit there worrying about how bad your last shot was.
$30 seconds.
That's all he had to negotiate. The gap between yellow and black still on course.
Now the big problem here, he's got to find the gap again. He could choose to go to play this with bottom right, bottom left-hand side and go out, but he must have an easier shot on the red. Well, he's got a nice kiss there, and the black still goes, so here's an opportunity, Jim.
He'll just have a quick look, if for nothing else, just to settle his nerves. This is all about just staying focused, giving yourself a chance to take it in, embrace the pressure. And that was was a good, confident pot.
He hit that very sweet there.
Very well.
He had to hit a bit of bottom on that to keep the white off the rail to get on the black. He didn't dolly it in. He put that in with some definite anger there, not...
Down it goes! A great inning for Paul O'Donoghue. A break and finish. Ireland still on song.
Leading 9 frames to 8.
Very important to get a ball in here, otherwise let the Irish guys back at the table. It's a big swing.
Open table.
There's a future champion. Potting the black is the name of this game, too. And he's taking it all in.
Well, here's a big opportunity on yellows, Jim. Daz has missed it off the break and he's let John in here. He's just got to play one good shot, the yellow on the top rail.
30 seconds.
Maybe just to bounce out for the yellow next to the red into the centre pocket.
Yellow ball's in play.
Showed a lot of confidence on there and overhit it way too much.
But regardless, I think he might be on the most difficult yellow, the one just next to the red, into the corner pocket. And there you go. Now, the way has been cleared.
That was a nice shot there, just controlling the white into the black to hold it at the top end of the table. I think both these shots up the top end of the table, Jim, are quite difficult. You may see him coming down the table here and potting the other lowest yellow to stay for the yellow in the middle. Now with an opportunity to run up to the yellow at the top end of the table. He's just got to roll this yellow into the centre pocket, and he's got... Well, he's going to take the hard yellow first. I don't know why.
I think he's just taking a look at it. I really can't see him taking that yellow on. It passes to the corner pocket. Again, it's just a matter of taking the time, allowing yourself that little bit to settle, and there you can see it is available. There's no way I can see him taking that on to the middle. Well, I have to say, I can't believe this pot. That's a tremendous shot, but he certainly has taken the difficult path to victory. But it never looked out, Alec.
$30 seconds.
Go on, John. Great shot, John.
There, over the ball. It's got a nice angle there just to play this with a bit of top.
You can't help but be impressed with some of the lower lights on the Irish side. Sure, you've got the Ferrans and the Holgates, and you expect good performances from them. But the players like John Collum and Paul O'Donoghue, McMahon, they've really risen to this. And look at the way they're playing. Like men possessed.
He doesn't have to do a lot with this shot, Jim. He doesn't want to overplay his hand. He's just got to roll this in, come across the table, put the black in his left-hand centre pocket.
Red ball's in play.
Well, you see it, and we knew right before John Collum did that that ball was not going to disappear. still, a lot of work to be done, and England know it.
30 seconds.
Well, he seemed to depart there with a very content look on his face, and obviously using the other red. He's developed the awkward one, and he used the other red to guard the yellow.
Total snooker.
I wonder if he can pull a rabbit out of the hat here, Jim. He maybe get up and messy on this.
Maybe trying to wedge that cue ball right in behind the yellow.
Off the jaw, maybe. I think it may have drifted with the nap there and just found its way into the pocket.
2 visits.
See the white ball curving around there. Hit the jaw and straight in.
I don't think he can believe it. I know it certainly didn't look on. Two visits for Daz Ward. You really can't see him failing from here, Alec.
No, not with 2 shots there.
Go on then, Daz.
It could have been very interesting if he had potted that yellow and the black and got the frames back to 9 all of a sudden given 2 shots away. Puts him up to 10-8, and really the pressure right on Ireland now.
But still pressure on both sides.
Well, not on Daz Ward at the moment with 2 visits remaining. He'd be quite happy about the situation right now.
Well, both Greg Fair and Tony Holgate, Paul O'Donoghue have played in this last session, so all they can do is watch. Watch and hope.
Come on, Daz.
30 seconds.
Just wants to leave the red over the center for last. And this 8 to leave England 1 frame shy. It's not been easy going, but Daz Ward completes victory. 10-8, England over Ireland, 1 frame away from another championship.
Well, it all could have been so different for Ireland in that one, but it wasn't to be, and England go forward. Now, very interesting this. Up next, Lee Kendall hasn't won a game all day, and I saw him just briefly going out in the corridor, looking worried.
He'll feel a lot better now it's 10-8. If it had been 9-9 and he was going to the table, hadn't won a game, then if he loses, they're in trouble. But as it is, he now goes to the table, he's got a cushion. If he loses, he's still 2 players left.
You said it before, Ireland have had their chances in this match, haven't they?
You're always going to get them at pool, and to be fair, the Irish team as a whole have played well. John Collum there, he must be really fed up. In every game he's played perfectly up to his last colour, and then messed up in all 3 games. Carl Morris let him off, but Daz Ward wasn't going to let him off.
Well, England on the verge of another famous victory.
Ireland.
Thomas Kinsella will take on the world #1, Lee Kendall.
Yes, Thomas Kinsella and Lee Kendall. And I don't think they're on the verge of a victory. I think there's another story to be told in this one. I think we've still got a lot of pool left.
Come on, Thomas.
Just a hunch.
Red and yellow ball spotted.
How would you like that break every day of the week, Jim? 3 balls potted, not 1 on the rail.
And this follows the storyline. No problems for Thomas Kinsella.
The only problem being that England only want one frame. That's going to put a lot of pressure on him.
Well, there is, but sometimes that last one can be so difficult to win and elusive. And Thomas Kinsella has looked solid. Lee Kendall has looked like a player fighting with his confidence and his form. Well, I think this is going to be a pretty simple finish for Kinsella. I don't think he's going to waste any time whatsoever in completing victory here.
I think he'll pot the red in the middle there that's lined up straight. Maybe screw into the yellow and then take the red in the top right-hand corner as his next ball so that he can travel down to the bottom of the table here with a nice angle without forcing anything, so it can't jump out of any pockets or anything.
This he is.
Great shot. Great shot.
Well, I would have put the red into the left-hand centre pocket rather than that right hand.
Well, that was almost disastrous, too, for Thomas. Just about slithered in behind that yellow. Oh, what a turn-up that would have been.
Wow, I actually thought he got behind there, Jim. I didn't think it would still pot it. So he's just a little bit lucky there.
Well, I could tell by his reaction, Alec. And I mean, the whole Irish side would have let you know if he couldn't see that one.
That's a beautiful shot there between the two yellows. Nice angle just to run down.
Thomas Kinsella has been solid.
Go on then, Thomas.
What a great visit. You can see him. He hasn't potted the black yet. And already the fist clenched.
Come on, Ireland.
Come on, Ireland, he says. 10-9 and counting. Carl Morris from England, the reigning Embassy Whirlpool champion, breaking off in frame 20. And it's a long ways from over.
Foul, one visit, open table.
Another look at it, very unlucky. But again, that cue ball flying all over the place, just begging to go in a corner pocket.
Just seeing there, Jimmy, it looked like it caught the left half or the right half of the front ball, which then made him lose control of the white. So he really got what he deserved on that break. He didn't hit the front ball head on. Of course, when you hit him with so much power, who knows where it can go.
30 seconds.
But gee, wouldn't you like to be on the yellows right now, Jim?
Yellow ball's in play.
And with Ireland having the break in the last frame, who knows, he might even be able to run out, and what a great comeback it would have been.
They trailed 5-2 at one stage. 10-8 here. They need the last three. They certainly look like going to a decider and forcing it into one frame.
Come on, Rob.
You've worked this out well, Jim. I didn't consider that, but put this yellow in the centre pocket, and it's looking pretty good.
Well, I think that really, if Ireland ever did go through to complete the shock victory here, I think that's been the difference, the breaks. Ireland has been breaking very well, and England has really been laboring every time they've gone to the table breaking off. There have been precious few breaks and finishes.
If I remember correctly, it only really started after the first round, and they found themselves 5-2 down. Things were rolling England's way, but then when they won the next round, 5-2, breaks seemed to be coming their way.
Come on, Robert.
I don't think he's on the intended yellow. I think he would like to have been on the one bottom left.
Come on, Robert. No problem, mate.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. He's just made it a fraction harder now, bridging over the black. He has to try and stun the white back off the bottom rail and try and bring it up so he can pot the yellow. Perfect. That's a great shot. You'll cut this in and black in the bottom right-hand corner, I think, Jim.
Well, there's a man with a lot on his mind, because if it goes to a decider, he's carrying the English flag. Keith Brewer will be the last man to play for England.
I heard them stop for a second, but it's not too bad.
Good for a left-hander. He can lean over the table. This is very similar to the shot that we see, or that we saw Carl Morris fail on. But there's the difference. A 1-frame decider. 10-10. Here we go. Check your nerve at the door. We're down to 1 frame and flip a coin. Frames apiece, and Ireland in with the advantage of having the break. John McMahon versus Keith Brewer. Nothing down. The only thing you can rest assured of here is that there will be a lot of thought and care put into each and every visit. I don't think there's much doubt the Reds look to be favored here, Alec. If that red on the left cushion passes. If it doesn't, then you want to look at yellows.
Well, I considered yellows first up, Jim. I'm not too sure.
The red ball's in play.
Well, I think that Keith would just pot this red over to the right-hand top pocket and probably look at just getting some control here, Jim. Maybe rolling that red on the left-hand rail and covering the bottom left-hand pocket. He knows how important the match is.
Yes, he will certainly not want to take any chances with this one.
Come on, Johnny.
He's not that good.
No, he's left him right on the yellow with a gap.
Yellow ball's in play.
And I tell you, that's all the Ireland wanted. They just wanted a shot at it. As far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity for Ireland right now.
Yes, he needed to get it in deep, and that's not deep enough. So here you go. The chance that Ireland wanted.
Got a nice angle here with the yellow into the bottom right-hand corner. Just to drift up, maybe even nudge the red away from the centre pocket and have a straight yellow down the rail, and the hard work's done.
Just about like that.
I think you would have preferred to clear that red from the centre, but it's not too bad. He might have to consider a fine cut into the other centre pocket and travel the white up and back, and maybe get on the yellow on the right-hand side.
30 seconds.
And they can't even occupy their seats. They wouldn't be able to sit still if they did.
Well, I can't sit still, Jim, so how are they feeling?
Right down the cushion, struck well.
Well, he's played that with a little bit of top, Jim. I think he's deciding to take the red in the bottom left-hand, the yellow in the bottom left-hand corner. But he's got to have to force this to get the white up to the top. Well, he had to force it, and Wily White was on the rail. He's played this with a lot of top, and as you can see, the white arcing there when the top spin actually grabs, and lucky not to snooker himself here. But he's got a tough shot here to keep on with this out.
Come on. Come on.
Tough shot. No doubt about that.
Well, Keith Brewer has played a lot of vital frames in his life. The oldest player on the English side. He may not be the captain, but he is definitely one of the team leaders. Beaten finalist in last year's Embassy World Singles.
30 seconds.
Okay. Go on. Come on.
Mick Hill and team manager Jim Morris, Carl Morris's father. And look at Carl Morris. He can barely stand to watch. He remembers that bad 8 that he missed that would have already had England over the finish line.
Considering the amount of pressure on Keith here, this is still not easy. He's got the red on the bottom rail, and he's probably just worried about sitting on the black or kissing the black. It's a tough shot to play with side, and when you're under pressure,
30 seconds.
Very tough. Well, he's kissed the black, and he's exactly what I called. Geez, it's nice to be right sometimes.
Looking at possibly in off the red. If he plays this wide, he's got a slightly larger pocket, but how often have we seen shots like this played where it'll just miss the red, catch the bump?
30 seconds.
I don't think he wants to play it off the red, Jim, because he might not have a next ball to start with. That should be his next ball.
That white looks to have finished right near the cushion.
Well, he can't screw back off the white off the rail.
Great shot, but he still left himself so much to do.
Well, he's going to have to hope for a lucky kiss off the yellow here, Jim, because all I can see is the white maybe just nicking the yellow. He's going to try and stun the red ball into the centre pocket.
30 seconds.
Travel with the white up to the top rail and come back down. A very tough shot. He He may even try to decide to screw straight. No, he's playing with top, so good luck.
Come on! That was tough. That was very, very difficult.
I think he had half safety in mind there, Jim. He made sure about what he was doing there and realised that if he missed it, he may have covered the yellow.
Well, he kept potting himself into an opportunity, but in the end, it was just too much. Just asking too much. Now, you know what John McMahon can do here is if he can knock in this long yellow, screw back to leave the yellow to the center pocket, he may be able to play it off the red. Well, he's playing the other yellow. He knows he's not going to leave anything.
Yeah, good shot. Good choice of shots there, Jim. So very easy for a player to get a rush of blood there and say, well, if I pot this yellow, I can win the match. But if I miss it, I might lose it. Where he's just gone and chosen a bit of safety, keep the pressure right on Keith. So it's a good shot.
Yes, Keith.
That's a very good shot, that, because you see, if he was to play the yellow in the top right-hand corner, then Keith could play the red off the other red into the centre pocket. So it's a tough shot here for John. He's got to make a decision whether he's going to go or not, because Keith can go with like 2 or 3 opportunities here.
30 seconds.
Shot, John.
Okay, so we can see that Keith can pot the lower yet red ball, but I don't know how he can get to the inside red, Jim.
And if that cue ball would have traveled a little further to the center of the table, I think what you said might have been available. Red off the other red into the center pocket. But I'm working very hard to keep myself calm here, Alec.
30 seconds.
Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny.
England and Ireland met in 1995, and the result there went to England at 10-10. I think this is one they're going to talk about for a long, long time, regardless of who eventually wins. But what a showing by this game Irish side.
They looked like they were going early in the match. They looked like they were going when they were 10-8 down, and really, they just really stuck on there.
Well, I just had a feeling, Alec. I know that in our studio, our co-host Alan Bartlett thought that England was home and dry. I just had a feeling that there was a lot more to be written in this script. He tried to cover that yellow, but he didn't quite get the red out far enough. But right now, there's so many options to the way of Ireland, just because the yellow is guarding the red. So he really can bide his time here.
You know what I think would have been a better shot there, Jim, is to maybe pot that yellow in the top left-hand corner and put the yellow in the right-hand corner over the pocket, which will then force Keith to play the red on the inside, and maybe give John an opportunity to put the yellow onto the yellow. Because at the moment, it's a very tough shot to play the plant. See there, John's got the opportunity to play the cannon onto the yellow into the top right, but it's a very tough shot.
Well, what about if he plays the yellow top left in to take the cue ball near the yellow over the pocket and lays an evil snooker on him?
Well, then I think you'd see just Keith just sitting on that yellow, making him waste one shot. So it's not a lot there. There's nothing in this frame right now.
30 seconds.
Come on, John.
Well, is he going to do what I said or what you said, Jim? He may even have a go. He may even decide to try and screw up the rail and have a shot into the bottom left-hand corner.
Well, either way, he's taking the initiative. Got his thinking cap on, and it fits.
Well, I think all Keith can do here is maybe try and get the black safe on the bottom rail
30
and
seconds.
leave the white safe on the left-hand side of the table to make the cut down onto the other yellow as hard as possible. Well, I don't like that shot at all.
I think he's in big trouble. I think you're going to see the yellow onto the yellow here. Certainly an opportunity.
You can play this with a little bit of top and also put the red safe as well to maybe take a bit of pressure off.
Here we go.
Come on, come on!
Well, he got lucky.
Can you believe how much he missed that by, Jim?
Completely butchered that shot.
He didn't even have a good long look at it. He got down and lined it up, and there you go. He's missed it by a long way.
Best of order, please.
I think Keith is going to try and cover the outside of the yellow here, Jim, to stop
30 seconds.
John from hitting it and potting it.
That might be the best shot we've seen today, given the circumstances. The shot that Keith Brewer just showed us there. And remember, it's not won anything. All it's done is bought him a little time.
Total snooker.
Off the side cushion, pots the yellow over the corner pocket. The other one's over the middle. I've got a feeling he's looking at the middle yellow first. Will he be cheering or shaking hands?
Yes, Keith! Come on!
What an epic battle.
2 visits.
I have to say, Alec, I'm surprised he went for that yellow.
Well, he's probably thinking if he goes for the top yellow, he might not get out for the other yellow. But
even to try and contact it and leave the cue ball up there.
Yeah, I agree, Jim. He's taken the hardest yellow.
30 seconds.
Even with the 2 visits, there's still so much to be done.
It's a shot, Keith. That's a shot!
Second visit.
That's a good shot there, Jim. Takes the pressure right off.
one pot away. What a final we have been witness to here. The 8 goes down, and Keith Brewer has done it for England. 11-10. It doesn't get any closer, and look at the English side. This is one they won't forget in a hurry. A very game and valiant attempt by Ireland falls just short at the last hurdle. But what a final we have been treated to.
Well, a fantastic win for England, but it went all the way. Sheer drama at the end there, and you can only say how sad it is for Ireland.